Make sure I'm okay. Make sure I'm unmuted here. Yeah, Ron Post, AE4JL from the big metropolis of Millersburg.
Awesome. Mr. Paul, who always leaves something behind.
Paul Branchfield from Roseburg, W7PEB,
Good to
south
have
of
you tonight.
Roseburg.
And I just want to throw out there, I still have somebody's chair from the POTA picnic, so I don't know if that was yours, Paul.
Nope.
No, the other Paul.
Um, I don't know. I have to, I don't know. Maybe. All right. Maybe we'll get together after the meeting sometime and you can maybe send me a picture or something. I don't know if it is, maybe it is mine. Mr. Mike, educator extraordinaire.
This is Mike, W7RIS, about 10 miles north of Cornwallis here. And I have been occasionally, when I get a chance, having an absolute ball chasing DX out there.
Awesome. We look forward to hearing some stories. Mr. Scott, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, Paul, and I'm glad to see you. And this is KF7GGN here, doing in Corvallis. And I've been lately mentoring this 15-year-old kid who's one of the most enthusiastic hands I've ever met. So
Awesome.
you guys about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about that in the in the sort of the good of the order side of the meeting. That would be great. Thank you. Those are good happenings to talk about. Mr. Ty.
Tyler, WB7DD, Southeast Corvallis with my girlfriend.
Who's taking up half of the camera every once in a while? That's great. Good to see you, Tyler. Ted, sharp and snappy dresser.
Ted, W7RTM. Secretary.
Extraordinaire. Or Esquire. Anthony, you've got a SpaceX launch pad behind you or something.
Yeah, Anthony, KE70SN. I don't remember what the NASA image of the day was for that one, but coming from Staten. And yeah, reminder, Scott, you also talk about your general class when the time comes too.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. Mr. Drew from the thriving metropolis of, well, I can't remember where, but it was Astoria.
Well, technically kind of Astoria. We're up in Ocean Park, Washington.
Okay.
Drew Terrell, W3HES.
Awesome. Good to see everybody tonight. And so we have a couple of options. We can do a presentation. Mike's always got one at the ready, so I stopped asking because he says, Paul, I've always got something. It's just a matter of, are we doing one or not? So I would like to get one thing kind of question is, did anybody talk about the possibility of doing an in-person meeting last week? I saw it in the meeting minutes, but I didn't know what actually occurred. Was there any interest or?
It was mentioned, but nothing was definitely agreed upon to my memory.
Okay.
Anna had mentioned a place over in Lebanon that would take us. I seem to recall.
Okay. All right, we can get back to it. I just wanted to know if I needed to make a call to the manager at Tommy's or if, I can. He's a little hard to get a hold of until about, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then he's busy. So that's why I thought I'd just jump on it and see if there was anything we needed to do. Okay. Mike, did you want to do your presentation or did you want to continue on with the business meeting or what would you like?
whatever you'd like to do. If you want to continue and knock off the business meeting, and we can do it at the end if you'd like.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and knock off the business meeting. I think I think it would be fairly short, and then unless anybody else has roundtable items, and they're always welcome, by the way. So we have secretary's report, Mr. Ted.
Yes, October minutes out Thursday, I believe, if anybody had the opportunity to review those. If there's any additions, deletions, corrections, please let me know at rusty.hinge@gmail.com.
Yes, and I just looked at them twice now, actually. Thank you for doing that. And I will flash up the secretary's report as well. I'm sorry, the treasurer's report, my bad. Just looking at the whole business. Again, I'm just catching up because I was out of pocket. So thank you, Mike, for doing the analyzer in Nano VNA. That's a new thing that's just fairly new in the hobby. And that's a very exciting piece of equipment that you can do a lot of things with.
Actually, it's not new. It's been around for quite a while. It's just that they have a new upgraded model. They've gone from the Model F to the Model H. The Model H has substantially more capabilities, better dynamic range, better readings, and far more math in that thing than the F version had. So that was the crutches of what I was bringing up there, and it was a kind of an introduction to get everybody a little excited about it. And if people want a really cool tool that basically trumps most any other analyzer out there, except if you have a lab grade one, that's a really great tool to get.
Excellent. Thank you. It looks like Ron got very excited about it. He ordered part of the kit while you were talking about it. So I look forward to seeing more of that in action. All right. So treasurer's report. So I have the email here somewhere. There it is. Let's see if I can share the screen. I will kind of run through it. I think it's an important piece. I got to find the right. Okay. All right. So you should be able to see. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Here we go. There it is. Okay. So Andy was not able to make it this meeting. He said he was traveling, so I said I'll go ahead and fill it in for him. So as of November 15th, the OSU checking has $1,121 and change. The OSU savings is about $2,489 and change, giving us a subtotal of $3,610. There's some money in PayPal, probably from some folks renewing memberships. Couple of pennies here and there in Square and cash. Grand total of $3,866. So it looks like we paid some bills in the last couple of months. I know we were up about over 4,000. So again, I missed those meetings, but I'm glad we were able to use some of those funds to pay some of our bills and to support our activities. Any questions from anybody? All right. And that matches. Actually, I killed it already, but I'm pretty sure that matches pretty close to what the treasurer's report says, if not a few pennies here and there. So thank you, Ted, for keeping us all on track. Let's see here. So the one thing I do want to bring up, and I know if Andy was here, he would say the same. He's looking to maybe transition out of this. He's got some family and other real estate and other traveling challenges, plus his own health. He wants to talk about maybe a transition, maybe out of of the role he's in, or at least understanding, who else can do it. So in case there was ever a need immediately to go ahead and do it. So we're looking for volunteers. So please look into, what you can do to help the club, and this may be one way to do it. The treasurer does a number of different things, minus the obvious monthly reporting. They would be a co-signer on the OSU credit union account, trustworthy member, et cetera, and just making sure that we're staying up with state compliance. And it's an annual thing that we need to file. It's just a kind of a paperwork thing. And I think Andy was asking for some help on the last email that he sent to say I'd really like to work with somebody on filing the state paperwork and kind of passing that on. He's doing this preemptively, and I thank him for reaching out in advance. But I think I'm guessing that he will not ask for re-election. When we come back in the February timeframe. All right, Mr. Ron, I don't know if there's anything happening on the website, but maybe you can help us. Let us know.
Just trying to keep up with the recordings. Really nothing else exciting there. I probably need to go check the calendar, make sure our meetings are on there. If we should decide to have a face-to-face Christmas gathering, I'll try to make sure that's on there too. But yeah, it's just sitting there for anybody to look at. If you got pictures,
Okay.
send them to me.
Oh, I have pictures that they're not ham radio related.
Well, I didn't say I'd post them either, but
All right, thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. I do appreciate you keeping up with that. Yeah, as we do events, even if they're on our own, we go camping, we do a little event. Take a picture, snap a picture, and say, hey, this is what I did on this contest weekend, or this is I went and did a POTA event, or anything, or I met up with a bunch of people, and here we all are standing around with whatever. Anything is great camaraderie for the hobby. We don't have any more repeater report other than that they're operating. Unless somebody else has some new information, I'm going to go ahead and check it out right now. See if there's anything. There's a striking picture on the Facebook page of. Oh, I have to show this. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Let me do share screen 3. All right, so Chris, our esteemed repeater owner, has posted a lightning strike in the Eugene Hills, an 815-foot tower that he's responsible for. And there is I don't know if it won't. Oh, he took a picture of a video, so it's not really a video. No, he just took it at 18 seconds of the 49 seconds. He took a picture of this lightning strike hitting this 800-foot tower. Oh my goodness.
That was probably the 1 second of that video that was actually worth watching anyway.
Right, exactly. Right. But that's amazing to be able to capture that. That's special. Never mind the work that went after it. So let's see if there's anything else to report. That was the only thing that was reported, and that was back in August. So there's nothing new. I'm sure that things are up and running, and if they're not, people typically post and let him know, and he goes and fixes it. I still haven't gotten a hold of him. That's on my side. I haven't reached out like he told me to. I email him and it kind of goes into a black hole, but he says, just call me. And I'm like, he's such a busy guy. I hate to bother him. He's like, oh, just interrupt me. I'm like, okay. So I need to do that. I own that. You know, I don't have any upcoming events other than, the possibility of a December meeting. So I'm going to go around and see if anybody else has any upcoming events because I have old information here. Does anybody have anything new that they'd like to share as upcoming events?
The 160-meter contest is the first weekend in December, and the 10-meter contest is the second week in December.
Hmm.
And last year I
Scott?
did really well on 10 meters. I don't have a 160-meter wire, so I'm out of luck there, but
Hmm. That's good. Good to know. Yeah, that 160 is really hard to get up high enough, even if it's and getting it long enough too. You need a property like Mike's there for that. Mr. Scott, what have you got to share? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. A few years ago, it might have been 4 or 5 years ago now, I did the 160-meter contest out at LC. So at that time, they had a tree, and we got our 60-foot tower up, and the distance between the tree and the tower was just right. And for a 250-foot dipole, and that worked out. Now that they cut the tree down, so that's gone, and they put a fence up around there were two trees. They put a fence up around the other tree, so now I can't even get to that. So what I decided to do, I figured if I'm going to do the 160-meter contest, and of course Paul would be more than welcome to come, but I don't think he's going to come all the way out for that. We could run a sloper from the tower 60 feet up, and then run it down to there would be enough length to go to a pole that we can make out of the chain link fence top type things. I think you could buy they're like $20, I think, for 10-foot lengths, steel, galvanized steel, and then you could put two together. One goes into the other, and then you can have a 20-foot high mast for the other end of the sloper, the low end of the sloper, and then that could work. So maybe, I don't know. But next weekend or this coming weekend, I should say, is the CQ Worldwide CW contest. I'm going to probably be doing that on 40, 20, and 10. So
Nice.
yeah, so I'm going to try to do that. Yeah, I was going to say that the kid. He just got his general. He got his tech with me back in August, and then he was taking my general class. And he decided to do it on his own. So he passed the. He took an online exam for the general last Saturday. Sorry, 2 Saturdays ago now, and he passed it. So the first thing he asked me, he says, "Can we get a multi-band antenna up in my house so I can contest in the sweepstakes this weekend?"
Wow.
Which already happened. I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." Because what we did was, as a tech, he set up, he wanted to go on 10 meters. Techs have privileges on 10 meters and they can do voice. And so he wanted to do that. So in the end, we got him, we let him borrow an ICOM 7300, which is very cool. And we just tacked up a 10-meter dipole right outside his room on like literally stuck it to the roof. And this guy's going on FT8 and on voice. He's making contacts all over the world. I mean, literally. So he's so super excited, and then now he's got I got a multi-band. We had a multi-band vertical, a high gain. It's a short one, but it's trapped, and so set that up in his front yard on Friday, so we could contest on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. So he did, and the guy's just like over the moon. So anyway,
That's great.
yeah. He's so it brings us to I don't want to take up any more time for the good of the order here, but I could talk to you about that because he really wants to get more kids involved and he wants to get hooked up with the club. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. I see Joe just sneaking in there.
Yeah, it took me a while to make this thing work.
Hey.
Welcome, Joe. We're just running down our agenda and we're going to go into an educational moment, but feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I don't know. Joe, K7BIK.
Hey, Joe, what do you know?
Less every day.
So if anybody else has anything else that you want to add, otherwise I'll go ahead and start the discussion quickly about the December meeting and see if there's any interest, and then I'll see what actions from there.
Did you guys already talk about the SSB sweepstakes? Is that what you were talking about, Scott?
Yeah, well, I wasn't in it, but the kid I'm mentoring or Elmering, he was in it. He just got his general license the week before, and he said, I gotta be in that contest. So we got a multi-band vertical for 40 through 10 and put it up in his front yard, and he went to town. So that's what I was telling these guys.
That's a crazy exchange, that contest.
Yeah, he loved it.
Okay.
He's probably signed. Isn't that the one where it says you're first licensed in or something?
You have to give the year your first license.
You should have said 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I was licensed 10 minutes ago.
That's what he said. 24, and they're like, what? 24.
24. 19, 24?
Yeah, right. Some of them probably go back that far.
That's great. Oh, that's a great story, Scott. That's we need, some vitality in the youth of the hobby, and I know several members are promoting that, and you're one of them. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, Scott Rosenfeld is also helping him out too.
Any other Hamfests coming up? Anybody know? Any other events that are noteworthy? I know it's coming into Turkey and Santa Claus mode where we all go to Gigaparts and write our wish list down and send it to the North Pole, right?
2:00.
Okay. So hearing nothing else, the last item is, do we want to meet in person? Is there anything we would like to, promote the idea? We've in the past done Tommy's. We open to other ideas, but really it's the level of interest, right? And so the only thing I can do besides talk at this group meeting is send out a mass email and see how many people would be interested in joining and showing up. And then if there's a certain amount, we can go, yeah, it's worth it. There'll be enough attendance. But any thoughts going around? Anything I missed in the last couple of months, because this may have come up?
They're still going to charge you $100?
Yeah, I suspect so, Scott.
Well, I'll find out. Okay, I'll ask at Imagine Coffee just for fun. See how much they'll charge. As an alternative.
Yeah. What's the general level of interest for the third Monday a week, a month from now, basically, to meet in person when not have a virtual meeting, basically?
Sounds good to me.
I'm seeing a couple of heads nod. Okay, I think I'll throw a feeler out on the Reflector and on the Ham Club Online. So you'll see two messages because you're on both. And for those who aren't on one, they'll see one. But I'll say, hey, who's interested? And if anybody is, then we'll go ahead and create it and go from there. And I'll obviously ask for if anybody wants to do any sort of other things besides just socializing, if they want to create an event within the event. Open to that too. Just need to get it out early so that people know what's going on. Sound fair?
Sure.
All right. Mike, I think that was record time, 24 minutes. I'd like to, and without any further ado, oh, wait a minute. Wait. Anthony, you have some other message. And maybe somebody else does too. I apologize. I had it on my notes.
Well, I was gonna shout out Scott for teaching a general class on Fridays. And
Oh yeah, I could talk a few minutes about that
yeah,
if you guys don't mind.
I had
Shall I?
one other quick thought before you jump into that, Scott.
Yeah, go ahead.
The club might also want to think about having some kind of a free junior membership for anyone under like 25 or 21 or something.
Yeah,
Just
good
give
idea.
the
Good
kids a
idea.
chance to join the meeting for the fun of it.
Yeah, good idea. So
Anyway,
yeah,
on to
yeah. So like this that kid I keep talking about, his name is Ethan. He call sign, I'll just introduce him, KK7 UXY. Well, he may eventually get a vanity sign, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So he's trying to start a club. He's in Albany. Actually, Drew, he lives pretty close to where you used to live in Albany. So he lives pretty close to Albany, South Albany High, and
okay.
but he's a homeschooled kid, although he's a student with the school. Kind of weird. He's like registered with the school, South Albany High, but he doesn't attend it really. He's really homeschooled, and I think his parents did a pretty good job, homeschooling him. He's very smart, very curious, very intelligent, and so forth. So yeah, he's a good example of that, and yeah, we should. I don't know. As we can see, we have only got what 6 people attending this meeting, so it'd be nice to get in some fresh blood. He's not a shy kid, so I could try to get him to attend. And if we can get him a free membership, that'd be really great, as Drew suggested there. So, and I'm trying. So, what I'm going to ask you guys too. We got the general. I'm teaching this general class, so it's Fridays, basically for this month, and maybe a little bit in December. Friday nights from 6 to 9. Okay, at the sheriff's annex, by the way. So
Hmm.
it's about 3, 4 people, which isn't bad for the first time, and they're very interested. So I give these lectures using PowerPoint, and also um, there's a there's several of these whiteboard platforms you can get, but I got one
Mhm.
called ClassPoint, which is put out by Microsoft, which is a kind of an add-on to PowerPoint, and so you can if you want to just hand write stuff or hand draw things like in the middle of your slide presentation, you can do that with ClassPoint. So that's kind of how I'm handling the class. And so also we may want to put it on Zoom for people or Jitsi for people who can't attend because I've
Mhm.
got several inquiries from Salem people and they would like to come, but it's too far. They don't want to drive out there on a Friday night or something. But if it's on Zoom, I don't know if they'll hang in there for 3 hours on Zoom, but we'll see. So it's kind of experimental, but yeah, it's going well. And then I plan to do this again in the spring or maybe even in the winter. Um, yeah. So
Nice.
anyway, we could tie it in with the class sorry, with the club. I want to, kind of like encourage the students to join the club is what I'm trying to say. You know,
Nice.
yeah, that's what I like to do because
That's great.
yeah, because why not? And then if we could get more active, like one of the problems is they don't want to if it's just going to be if it's going to be stuff like Mike presents, the educational part, that's going to be great. If they just have to listen through all the the business of the club kind of stuff, that can get boring. But they may just
Yep.
tolerate that until we get to the educational part, which I think would be very good. You
Well,
let him fall asleep for a couple of minutes.
yeah, but there are some clubs out there. I know, like that down Eugene Club, where they just do introductions, say hi everybody. They do their education program, and then it's like if anybody wants to bother and stick around for the business side of the meeting, that comes after the education. So
That one makes
it kind of does the bigger draw for people that just want the education and don't give a rip about what goes on the business side.
right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and we've flipped back and forth, and I flipped a coin and I said, hey, this is a short time. We usually take an hour. We're already only at a half an hour, and we're already wrapping it up, so it's good. So I called it right this time.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, this is great, Scott, and it's good ideas, Drew. I'll we'll I'll write it down and we'll talk about it amongst the board members and see what we want to do about it and see if it's something we'd like to foster. Thank you.
Viable, throw it up for a vote with more details.
Sure.
Yeah, I just need to see, we have to look at the bylaws and I don't have them up here and I don't want to take the time now to do that, but it seems like a really good idea. Thanks. Anybody else have anything else before we turn it over to Professor Mike? Okay. Well, thank you all for the business meeting attendance. Mike's going to go ahead and give us an educational portion. I do ask everybody to just mute your mic out of out of respect and just kind of keep it. And if you have any questions, I know Mike will let us know how to do that. Thank you, Mike. We're still on recording, and we're all still here. I failed to ask the strategic question, and I think somebody pointed it out, and I just went on with the agenda, and I apologize. But anybody want to recommend we allocate some money towards the usual $100-ish if there's enough interest to hold the December event at Tommy's or something of equal caliber. Does anybody have any positives or negatives against that?
No, I think it should be done.
I would make a motion to allocate up to $200 for a holiday gathering Christmas meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Hey, Paul, you should also check in with Anna, though, because she did have a place that she thought would get us in for free. So.
Okay. I just sent a note out to the reflectors, and I'll see if there's any interest, and then other ideas will follow, and it'll be a grab bag of cornucopia of emails, I'm sure. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Mike, for another, again, the devil's in the details. I think you should relabel that. Because that was all tiny little parts here and there that make all the difference in the world. And
Yep.
the investment of using stainless steel parts and all of that was great information. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
So just one follow, as I've been thinking about what you said, Mike, if you've got so this question comes out of a practical, I think, mistake. So I have an AH4 and I have an AH2B, so that ICOM 10 to 40 setup for mobile. You guys know which one I'm talking about? And I generally have only ever used it temporarily through a trailer hitch. And the last time I used it was on the previous van. And so I set it up on the new van. And while it tuned, it didn't work worth beans. I immediately went to a ham stick. And I'm thinking part of the problem was probably that I was grounding through a stainless steel bolt. Instead of doing a ground strap, actually going and finding a spot on the frame of this newer Toyota to ground to the AH4, I was going through a bolt on that same trailer hitch receiver. That might have been my fault because I thought everything else was set up right. But what do you think?
Technically, there should be a black wire let's see, did you still have the electrical connection for the stoplights and stuff connected between the vehicle and the trailer?
No. It simply was, there's no trailer wiring. It's just a receiver hitch,
Okay.
like for a bike rack.
Oh, okay.
And so I've got the AH4 into an adapter, and it goes into the 2-inch receiver on the van. So you've got two other failure points too, where I didn't grind them down far enough and everything. So I think I know my problem.
Yeah, that because you got to get, okay, a lot of frames and stuff like that. You always have paint. You got to get rid of the paint. You
Yeah.
got to get down to just bare absolute steel to make a good electrical connection. If you try and drill a hole and then put a bolt through it with paint on both sides of it, you're going to have a
Yeah.
crappy ground.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty sure that was a problem because I worked a lot better with the hamstick.
Yeah, I was
I
going
was
to ask
a
if you.
So
Oh,
sometimes you can get away with you use a star washer. Do you know what a star washer is? It has
yeah,
a
yeah.
bunch of little nicks and stuff in the washer. Sometimes you can use a steel star washer and get away with that type of connection with even though there's paint there in this place.
it
Okay.
scrapes it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
Yeah.
if it was painted connection, if it was painted parts, so that would explain it.
Yeah. Because I was activating a park on the coast for POTA, and it was like this isn't working. Plan B. So yeah, I got my minimum with the hamstick, so all was good. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll
You're
look,
welcome.
scrutinize that.
Yep. Okay. Anything
It-
else, guys? Ross,
did you? I got here late, Mike, so I don't want to drag you out. Did you compete over the weekend and the sweepstakes?
no, I did not.
Ah, okay,
I had my hands full with a few other things at that point. I
okay,
there's been several good contests that I have really missed out on this year because I've just been too busy with a bunch of other stuff.
okay.
But I will say there's been a lot of times that in the evening after supper I'll slither up here to try and shovel email and work on some various things that um I've had a still good activity. 10 meters has been alive. Uh, I chase some DX, some new countries on 6 meters. And that 6 meters is one of those things that you look at PSK reported to get an idea if you're going to get anywhere on that. But I mean, late in the afternoon, 6 meters has come alive sometimes. Sometimes it's been in the morning. Had some decent openings into Europe. And in the evening, you have openings that go into Japan. So I picked up a bunch of Asian countries too on 6. Uh, Last night on 80 meters, um, it had finally got kind of active, and I got South Cook Island. There's an expedition out there. And so on 80 meters on that, 80 meters, my last band that I need to get 100 DX stations on, and I'm just a couple short on, so I can get 5 band DX on that. But there, oh, let's see, also on 6 meters, a lot of times in the evening, it'll open up to the East Coast. And so on 6 meters, I pretty much got all the states for trying to get worked all states all across the East Coast. I still haven't got Florida, um, missed a couple times, but then I have a whole bunch of stuff which is going to be problematic for 6 meters that's in the mid part of the country, like for Colorado, New Mexico, Montana, uh, those kinds of states, Nebraska, because I'm going to skip over those things. I have to be lucky in order to get into that. But it's exciting times out there with absolutely great bank conditions. Oh, it was kind of weird last night. You know, I talked about working guys on 80 meters there, but it's like I just watched, 10 meters basically around 6 o'clock go blank. 6 meters woke up a little bit, but all the way up through uh, 20 meters basically go completely dead. Another half an hour, they started coming back alive again. And then an hour later, they were all those bands were all fully functional. Weird stuff, but you gotta, you gotta just don't be pessimistic about it because there's no reason for everything not to be open out there.
Cool. Well, I just have a small goal, which is I'm just trying to get worked all states on POTA, and I'm over halfway. So
Cool. Good.
yeah, as a hunter, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's excellent.
Well, it's harder as a hunter. It's easier as an activator.
Yeah, they come to you.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely wrong.
Like calling secure.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thanks. Didn't mean to bore everybody.
No, you didn't. That's why
All right. Yeah, Paul ran for the door when I started talking about grounding. So. All
Okay.
right. Well, thanks again. Good to see everybody. Thanks for the education, Mike, as always.
You're welcome. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right.
Take care.
See you guys
Talk to
later.
you
Have a good night,
Friday,
all.
Scott.
See you. Okay. Bye-bye.